And last night, President Donald Trump delivered a highly anticipated address to the joint session of Congress. They call it that instead of the State of the Nation because, of course, it is the president's first term. He's only first term, but his first month in office. This joint session of Congress announcement that he made, if you will, laying out his vision for America's future as he begins his second term. Here in New Jersey, there were reactions pouring in, of course, as you can imagine. Some see it as a bold roadmap. Others question its impact on the Garden State. And fortunately, we have somebody who knows all about it joining us this morning, Alex Zdan, who is the former candidate for U.S. Senate in New Jersey. He was an investigative journalist. You saw him for years. He was on News 12, a familiar face to many of you. Alex, thank you for coming on this bright and early morning with us today. Always good to hear from you.
Good morning, Ken.
Oh, look at how peppy you are. Somebody had a cup of coffee. Alex, let's start
Well,
with
apparently it's 53 degrees outside my house, or 33 or 63 or something. Who knows?
This, you can tell somebody was up watching the president's address and all the aftermath last night. So you know those days, I'm sure, having done them. Let's start with your immediate takeaway. First off, you watched President Trump's address last night. What stood out to you most, and what? How did it hit you as a man of New Jersey who spent so many years covering politics and holding leaders accountable?
Well, I'm sure viewers, they laughed, they cried, they threw things, and that was just the Democrats in the audience. It was really extraordinary to me. The lack of respect and humility that the Democrats showed, because we saw last night, and we've seen since President Trump was reelected, the Democrats' style is performative rage that really gets them nowhere. So that to me was a big takeaway. The speech in and of itself was about 1/3 accomplishments, 1/3 where we're going, and 1/3 make a wish, this is your life. There were those extraordinary moments. DJ Daniel, the young man hugging the director of the Secret Service when he was just made an honorary Secret Service agent. There were the moments honoring Laken Riley's family, honoring Corey Comparator's family, unfortunately lost both in Laken Riley's case to a murder by an illegal alien. In Corey Comparator's case, lost during that assassination attempt on President Trump. So I think from the president's point of view, a lot of this was a vindication of the past 4 years, returning to that chamber for the first time since his first term. Not only the first time since his first term, the first time since COVID came through the country. So it's been 5 years for President Trump, obviously feeling the power, feeling emboldened with those majorities in Congress, setting a vision for the future, but reporting to the country, as is traditional for presidents, about the state of the union and the progress his administration is making so far.
And Alex, you mentioned the Democrats. You had Congressman Green from Texas, who is a disgrace. I mean, here's a man who spent literally 40 years of his life sucking off the teat of government. He was an activist lawyer. He was known as a race baiter in Texas when he came up as an activist lawyer. Other than his activist lawyer moment, he has literally been in government jobs doing know nothing nonsense for years, being elected over and over again into Congress in a seat that will always vote for you if you are a Democrat African American. You will always get reelected in that district, no matter what. So it's not like it takes effort or a man of profundity to get elected in that district. And he has entered articles of impeachment against Trump over and over and over again, that even other Democrats roll their eyes and go, "Come on, Green, shut up." There were people around him saying, like, "Chill out." But I think that you have the Chuck Schumers of the world, who are disgusting, by the way, disgusting politicians, but always the first to point the finger, blame at others, who egged him on because why? You have an older African American gentleman with a cane, so surely they would never arrest him. I think the Speaker of the House did great. In fact, he should have gavelled him out and had him arrested and thrown in the brink downstairs sooner, instead of wasting 30 seconds of our time. Here, the American people were there to hear the president, like him or hate him. We're here to hear him. Who the hell do you think you are to shut it down? It's obnoxious.
Well, Al Green certainly has the money to afford a very nice cane, as we saw him
Yeah.
repeatedly shaking at the president like the Penguin in the original Batman series. Look, I want to be clear. If you can't spend 90 minutes in your assigned seat, keeping your mouth shut, you don't deserve to be a member of Congress because you're a toddler. And I am absolutely applying that to the antics of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert last year. They shouldn't have
I'm
done it.
with you.
Al Green shouldn't do it either.
You're absolutely right. And speaking of antics, talk about an overpaid, obnoxious Ivy League, self-entitled, we've had enough of you, you can go away now. A certain someone on MSNBC referred to little DJ and his reception of the being made an agent by the president. Now, first of all, DJ is not 4 years old. He is 13. Obviously, the
Right.
brain cancer has impacted his growth, but he is 13. And I say that because he's not a little child who can't make a decision. 13, you know what's going on. He was there with his parents at the invitation of the president. Clearly, they weren't there under duress. They weren't being, you know, cuffed to the seat. His father clearly was happy to be there with his son. It was a happy moment for the child. But Rachel Maddow, who hasn't seen anything on the right that she's ever liked, Rachel Maddow had the nerve last night to refer to it as a disgusting display of abuse of a young child. What the hell is wrong with this woman? First off, there wasn't a dry eye in the house when he received this honor. The kid's face said it all. He was shocked. It was happy. It was
Hmm.
joy. He hugged the head of the Secret Service. This wasn't something that was forced. It was so organic and natural. But I think that's the key. Democrats don't know anything organic. Everything they do
Right.
is staged and phony and fake and set up so that when there's a natural, happy, organic moment like this, even they don't know what to make of it.
Ken, if you want to talk about fake moments as opposed to authentic, organic moments, look no further than the 25 congressional Democrats who posted the same video at the same time, a video written by our New Jersey Senator, Cory Booker, produced by the Democrat caucus, and spit out on social media, making this monotone, robotic reading from a script that none of them wrote themselves. And then when
Hmm.
that was called out, when that was discovered, they tried to turn it around and say, aha, we've got you. We made you watch the video. No one watched the video. We watched the first few seconds. We watched the comparison. We knew what it was right away. The
I
performative antics of the
Go ahead.
Democrats have got to stop.
Well, I love how it is now the new thing on the left that they think that they get everyone's attention and look hip and cool by dropping F-bombs and all sorts of vulgarities. You know what? We all know the word, you morons. We know the S-bomb and the F-bomb and the C-bomb and everything else. It doesn't make you cool. It makes you late to the party. Okay? You just discovered the word S-H-I-T. Wow. You're so hip and cool. I look at somebody like Pocahontas saying the shit word, and like that she doesn't sit there and suck down a beer like she phonily pretends to do. Can I make that an adverb, phonily? And they're just so fake. Listen, I have sat and had conversations with Chuck Schumer. He is a nerdy moron. That's what he is. He is nothing more but a geek with his hunched in his glasses and he sat there last night or stood there last night, and every time the camera went on him, this look of like mischievousness, like he had this look like he knew all the plots for the night, and he thinks we're all stupid. And this is why the Democrats lost. And let them keep doing this nonsense. They'll continue to bury themselves deeper and deeper in a hole because America sees through it. We have social media today. You're not going to persuade us anymore. Propaganda is dead on your side.
Yeah, and if you look at the immediate polling, if we can count on polls being accurate, I always take them with a pretty big shaker of salt. The CBS YouGov poll that came out in the
Mhm.
hours after the speech showed that 76% of people who were watching approved of it. And that's a great number, including 74% of Republicans. However, Ken, the audience watching the speech was overwhelmingly Republican. And that's great. Everybody should watch. My point is, only about 20% of the audience last night was Democrat. Most of the Democrats in this country think that the best way to serve a democracy is to tune out and not listen.
Mhm.
I watched all of President Biden's States of the Union. I watched all of Barack Obama's States of the Union and messages to Congress. Why? Because it's part of being an informed citizen. And it's sad to see that Democrats are checking out and only relying on manipulated, scripted videos on social media to try and chart the course of this great nation.
Alex, the great Dan Bongino, now the deputy director of the FBI, often made the following comment. He would say, Republicans view Democrats as good people with bad ideas. Democrats view Republicans as bad people. And when you start out with that, they don't even think that they don't want to justify Republicans' existence by giving them the time of day. They look at life as right and wrong, that they are right and the Republicans are wrong. So therefore, there's no point in sitting down and discussing or listening to what you have to say. Well, that's a pretty closed-minded concept. And that's what they love to say, democracy. We have to have democracy. You're an existential threat to democracy. Democracy, that means conversation. That means get as much of a say as you do, moron. That's what that means. It doesn't mean that you get all the say. Let me fix my backdrop there. Look at that.
Well, the
See, you could
sad
tell
thing,
that's a
Ken,
backdrop.
is that the
Go ahead.
average individual person that you might meet on the street, Democrat, Republican, or Independent, most of the time, you can have a conversation with that individual person. The problem here
Mm-hmm.
is the performative class of the Democratic Party that is elected by the far left in primaries where the contest is who can be further left. And the general
Right.
is a foregone conclusion because of gerrymandering. I look again to our state, new Congresswoman LaMonica McIver, New Jersey's 10th congressional district, who dramatically walked out of the speech and had a press release ready to go, typed up, double spaced, sent out to everybody. And she is going to be rewarded in her district for those antics because it is a heavily biased against Republicans district because of the way that it was drawn on the map. These are the things that need to change in order to restore true democracy to our country.
And I think part of the problem, Alex, is for Democrats, many have given up on religion over the last 3, 4, 5 decades, 4 decades maybe. And the new religion that they have is leftism. So the difference is for a Republican, politics is part of our lives, right? But for a Democrat, politics is their life. It is their religion. That's why for you to suggest that they might be a little too far off the mark and have a conversation would be like telling a Christian, you know, that whole Jesus thing, I don't buy it. I shouldn't even be talking about this on Ash Wednesday. But by saying that, it's literally an insult to the heart. It cuts them to their soul. And so they get so offended, they don't want to have a discussion. That's why they cut off family members. They block people on social media like petulant children because you know what? It is honestly the lazy thing to do because it takes an emotional effort to have a conversation and a thoughtful conversation with somebody who has a differing view. Because now you have to justify what you think and feel. But Democrats are all about feelings; they're not about logic, and this will continue if they'll continue losing elections if they want to keep this up. So keep it.
Yeah. Ken, I believe that in terms of whether it's my religious faith or whether it's my ideals or my ideology, having a good, thorough discussion with someone who challenges my beliefs actually makes my beliefs stronger because I need to
Correct.
defend them, because I can expose any weaknesses in my thinking. And I value those conversations, unlike far too many people on the left.
Alex, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being with us. You are always a breath of fresh air, or a good sounding board for me. Like, sit down. You know, I always love having you on, so please don't be a
Thank you,
stranger,
Ken.
my friend.